New 72 Radio, the voice, views, and visions of the collective.
So good morning. Welcome to Healthy View, Healthy You. I'm Dr. Len Young.
Lynn, you're not on Facebook yet. That's just the first live prompt. There's 2 live prompts, remember? So hold on just a second. You'll see the live on Facebook. Hold on.
I thought so. But you know, Jerry could be on, and if she's watching, that's really funny.
Helen, it's always great to have a fun with you.
It is. I agree with that, Stella. It's always, we're playing in the universe.
They says that joy is a really presence of the God.
Yes,
that,
it is.
that joy to the life, to the people, to everything.
Yes.
So I think that's true.
Yeah, I do too. Here, I see that we are now live on Facebook. Stella,
Good
well
morning.
done, Kelly. I am Dr. Len Young, and I am here with Dr. Stella Susik-Pavich. And we are without our cohort, Rebecca Shaw, today because she has laryngitis. And she decided that she would be quiet for the day to rest her lungs. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy day and week. And first, I would like to thank Kelly Lair, our producer, who is out in Oregon, for all the work that she does for us to try to help us not have resounding voices on the internet and to be able to see us and to take us live on Facebook and take us live on YouTube and broadcast later. You've just been a wonderful friend to us, Kelly, so thank you very much. You can find her at New 72 Media Radio on their own website if you have any interest in finding out what they do. But today, we are going to continue to talk about gratitude. We started it around Thanksgiving time and in November. And today we're going to take it in a slightly different direction. The gratitude is about community, family, and then about ourselves. How do we stay healthy at this time of year? What is it that we can do for ourselves that will have us enjoy this change in weather, the excitement of the holidays or the emotion of the holidays, the travel that we might do, or family who come to visit? How do we stay healthy through it all? And what are the kinds of things that we can do? So I found a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh this morning. And if some of you have never heard of him, he is a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. And he's 92 at this time. He has a meditation village in France where he has spent a good bit of his life. It's called the Plum Village. And he has retreats there. He has many people come to visit him there, and he's written a number of books. He's so wise. But this one piece that I found from him really spoke to me. It says, keeping your body healthy is an expression of gratitude to the whole cosmos, the trees, the clouds, everything. And so if I unpack that a little bit, I wondered what that would mean. And for me, I started to look at my day. How do I spend my day from the time that I awake in the morning to the time that my eyes close and I go into sleep? And I thought I'd share a little bit of that with you, and then Stella can talk about what she does in her day. So you might pick out some of my rituals or habits and try them on for size and see if they fit you. I know that I have several friends who have rituals, and I know when I can call them and when I can't, because they're in the middle of their morning habits and how they start their day. And I've taken some from them, like my friend Jerry Fathour is just so good about sticking to her early morning routines. So I wake up in the morning, and before I get out of bed, I have a brief meditation. Sometimes it's longer than brief, but if I need to use my phone, then I retrieve my phone, which I'm trying not to have next to me because of the electromagnetic rays. But I get it, and I either listen to a Tom Kenyon or I create my own prayers, and I commune with God, with the universe, and I am grateful. I'm thankful for my health, for having a roof over my head, for having the family that I have, my children, my extended siblings, and my mother, all of my cousins. I go through everything. And then I attend to my body, and I am grateful for the health in my body. So if there's anywhere that's ached, for instance, if shoes have bothered me the day before and my feet hurt, or if I've had a little headache, or if I'm hungry because I haven't eaten correctly in the last 24 hours, I actually go into those areas of my body and I attend them. I actually thank them for being there, and I am grateful for my body supporting me throughout the day. And then I ask for the great energy to take me through the day, and then I get up. And when I get out of bed, put my feet on the floor, I have a lightness of being. It's just a great feeling of, even if I have a good bit of stress that could come in the day, I already greet it with a lightness. And that helps me a lot. You may find that's helpful to you. It depends on what your belief patterns are and your commitment to those beliefs. And so if you've just gone through Hanukkah and you've had several Hanukkah parties, then you can be really grateful for whatever you exchanged at Hanukkah, even if it was just hugs and good meals or getting together with your friends. We are embarking on Advent and in the Christian religion, and I have sat myself in the middle of glorious music in churches, and it just fills me. You know, my heart fills, and I think it would fill anybody, regardless of your religion, to sit within that music and feel the resonance that comes from some of those instruments. So those are some of the things that I do. But for the rest of my day, I get up, I go start my computer, I then make sure I have 10 to 12 hours between the last time I ate something and when I eat something today. So I like to finish eating by 6 or 7 in the evening. But sometimes I have little cravings and I'll have a cup of hot tea, chamomile, maybe an hour before I go to bed. And then I just have this hunger. And so I try to eat a piece of fruit or something. And if it's 10:30, then I immediately tell myself, well, you can have a cup of tea in the morning, herbal tea, but you can't really eat anything until 10:30. And so mentally, I set myself to eating in a pattern. And then I think, when do I have a stronger meal? So I might eat something light at 10:30, and then make sure I eat something heavier at 2 or 1:30. And then I know if I eat heavily in the middle of the day, I'm going to eat lightly in the evening, which I prefer to do anyway. Even at this really exciting time, I seem to be meeting friends for supper and luncheons, doing business lunches and thanking people for their work for the year. And I then go into each of those times knowing, is this going to be my heavy lunch or is it going to be my heavier supper? And then I manage it that way. And by the time it comes to the evening, late evening, and I'm getting ready to go to bed, I find a cup of chamomile tea, and I do it with honey. But a good hour before I go to bed really relaxes my bones and my energy. And when I go to sleep, I sleep right through the night. And I sleep 6.5 to 7 hours. I'd really like 8, but my body just says 7's enough. You can get up and go. And then I start my process again. And as a result of all of this, I welcome in surprises. I welcome in activities during the day that allow me to respond on the spur of the moment, to respond and see people that I don't expect to see. That brings a lot of joy, by the way. Or it helps me actually deal with very tough situations. If I find something arises about my mother, who is 95 and failing, then I can handle it from a better emotional standpoint because I've got these sort of habits that I've put into my life about how I eat and what I do. And so I will say too, the other day I was visiting with Stella, and we had finished what we were doing, our work and our visit, and she said, "Ben, I have this great new soup that I've just made," and she'd made it the day before, and it was just nurturing and rich with great vegetables. And she said, "You must have a bowl." And I thought about my day, and I thought, yeah, that would be fabulous. It's my meal in the middle of the day. And I sat and had the most delicious soup that Stella made with love. So I will also make one more comment, and then I'll give it to you, Stella, for a little bit of chatting. When you cook, at this time of year particularly, put love into your food. It comes back when somebody eats it. And even if for some reason your broth is more water, which sometimes mine is, than thickness, then they'll taste the love that you put into it, in the herbs, in the vegetables that you use, in the meat that you chose, or the fish that you serve. Do it with love, and then everyone enjoys it that much more. So you can tell my message today is about being in who you are, loving what you do, knowing what you do. Take responsibility for your day, and know that what you do really communes with God and with the universe, and however, whatever belief patterns you have, to give you a really productive and successful day. What do you think, Stella?
I just want to tell you that you opened my heart so much with your such a harness and talk about habitual and spiritual life that you are going through. This is the moment I would love to send a blessing to all of our listeners. So to open their heart on the gift of the living, of the really exceptional gift for which we are particularly tuned, most of us, in this part of the year when we're celebrating so many holidays and the Christ birth and the light of for the people who believe that God is a present. For everybody else, just enjoying that joy that is present in the air as we're walking. In most of the people, I will touch a little bit about depression and hard time that many people have, particularly in this time of the year. So I'm inviting everybody to help us heal and help us attend those people, because they may be lonely, they may just want to stay lonely, and to be all of us considerate to their need and try to attend and be tuned for the need of our community. This is when you started this conversation, when you said that this time of the year is a time of the gratitude for the community, for the family, and for ourselves. So I was thinking how to achieve that feeling of the gratitude. And I was thinking we should start from ourselves. Your routine that you were mentioning, and starting your day with prayer, meditation. And I mean, I really admire you, because I am like millions of others, knows what needs to be done, but very often skipping from one or another habitual things that I may have. Like right now, I start to watch all of those Netflix episodes. I turn off my Facebook, but I was hooked on the serial of the movies that tipped me off from my healthy habit of sleeping at the right time and waking up at the right time, so I can dedicate this time for the most important things, and it is prayer, that day is staying in silence. So I would want to give some encouragement for all of us who are failing, that we need to go and start from the beginning, every morning, every night, every day. We need what needs to be done. In the morning, silence is a must. It is that exceptional moment in which we are opening our heart and our brain, the universe, to God. let Him give us that strength of the joy. As a Christian, the birth of the Christ is the most known to me. So that's the time in which we really are rebirthing our soul and as well as our body, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, to that exceptionally infinitive love that we believe that we may achieve. And for all the people of the goodwill, of the great heart, of those who build a hope, who are peaceful, who try to solve the problem without sword, that's some exceptional present of and support that if we do not have, we will succumb for the difficulties of this life in the term of the personal sadness or sadness that we are seeing in the community. So this is something we need to nurture on, this moment of silence in which we are reconnecting with the hope, love, and faith. Personal, habitual things are exceptionally important, and I wouldn't change anything in your habit. When you know that I'm doctor, we're talking about that a lot of time. 100 times I was telling people the first thing after being together with your God, go ahead and have a glass of water. Let's go wake up your organism. Let's go wake up your body. Don't have a coffee as the first things in the morning. Coffee has a pharmacological property that your body doesn't like as the first things in the morning. So water, and after that bite of any kind of the food, then coffee. And I could go on and on all the way to the proper healthy cooked meal in the middle of the day and lighter food at the night. But it's really depending on the very heavy schedule that American working force has. They're at home by 6 p.m., very hungry. They didn't have a meal together. So they tend to cook a lot at that time as the time of the showing the love to other people. So that's the important part of American habitual life things, that cook those meals lighter as possible, and somehow learn to have a heavier meals in the middle of the day when they are at work. So those are those habitual things that you are doing and I try to do, and teaching my patients and people who I love and everybody who wants to listen for the healthier life, including exercise that is important in these times of the year. But the question is why we're failing. This is why I want to empower you who you listen. If we know where we are failing, then and why we are failing, then we know what exactly we need to attack. A habit, our brain likes schedule, our brain likes habit. This is what makes us the most peaceful from the neurohormonal release standpoint. So our brain will go in any kind of the habit that is pleasurable for the brain. Whatever that may means. But we very often forget, or our brain doesn't let us, that motivational strike that is really neurohormonal strike, in which we, for example, want to go into the habit of the proper exercises and daily movement. You can ask whoever who was exercising for a long period of the time and felt awesome, how hard is if they make the pause to go into that habit again, because it's requiring effort. That first effort, that first initiation needs to overcome your bad habit. And you need to know that. If you don't do that first energetic things, that you go over your laziness and your tendency to lay down, you definitely will not be able to achieve proper health. You need to have and find mentally, you push yourself to the vision of yourself that you have. And you fell, but you get up on that feet and you do that again. So that's the medicine for the bad habits that you may be in it right now. You decide what the good habits are for you. Start from the small things and push it. Continue. Let it start with that prayer in the morning who will give you a mental strength to push your body and push your soul toward better humanity, like toward better goal of yourself. I think that's the message of the Christmas and the holidays. They are in front of us, that we should focus our soul and mind and body toward the hope, toward the better self, toward the better life to your family, understanding how important silence is. Then any kind of the argument may arise in this holy time. I would suggest you to practice silence. That silence really can help avoid a lots of things that behind you do not actually stand behind. Or if you stand, you don't stand with such energy which you can use to harm other people when you are fighting. And usually those are the people closest to us. So practicing silence is actually practicing all good that they may come from the situation that may start like a negative, but turn to positive because you use your prayer, you use your silence to silence something that you are not. So good luck with that, and congratulations every moment when you achieve that. Really big blessing in this time. I'm missing our Rebecca very much. She is our practitioner of the helping human how to overcome exactly that lack of the will, to help them see how they can achieve breakage in the habits they are not healthy for us, and how to focus on the habits who are more healthy to us. So she has a laryngitis. I'm her little voice right now, both of us, of her, from her wisdom. Rebecca, if you're listening, lots of healing, lots of love to you. You're doing great. Such a fantastic mother and practitioner and friend. And thank you for all of your wisdom that you share with us.
So Stella,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to actually go back to one thing you mentioned, because I think it is important at this time of year. For the amount of joy that we find, there is also a lot of despair in our world, and not even in the broad world around us, which is political and economical, financial, but it's the emotion that this time of year brings. And there are physical things that occur from the universe. I mean, I understand, and I don't have something to quote for you, but physics actually, because of the change in weather and how the earth moves and the planets and their relationship to us, there are things that are coming through us on the earth from out in space, and they do affect us, and they affect, some of us can get very down and get clinically depressed. And if you find anybody in your family is like that, you know, we've been taught for so long to let people make their own way and work themselves through it. But take action to at least support them. You don't have to change their life. You don't have to make them do something because they have to have the will to do that. It's really an individual thing. But if they don't feel alone in it, it gives them the strength often to do something about it. And I would say it's a bigger gift than anything material is that you could give. So if you're in the grocery store and you see a friend whose face is just really down and they don't seem very engaged with life, take a few minutes, give them some minutes of your life right then. You can be a little late to your meeting. Even, well, you might not be able to. It's a crucial thing.
I would actually say smile to stranger. When you see that stranger is just a lonely, smile it. Show him that humanity, that they are not alone, they are visible.
I agree with that, actually, and I try to do that all the time. Actually, there's a wonderful quote from the Dalai Lama that I found this morning. And he said, "Be kind whenever possible." And then he said, "It is always possible."
Awesome.
I love that.
Len, you know that mentioning that there is a physical things that are happening for all of us, and the physical things that is happening with the people with depression regarding cosmos. I want to remind all of us that our body is made from elements. And those elements, they comes from the start, and under some miracle, they start to collect into the different kind of the molecule, and this is who we become. In the Bible, in the Quran, so far I haven't seen or read other holy books. It says, "I made you from the clay," or so. And they think that that clay has all the elements that we are built from. So our universe stay in order, relative order, by physical powers that is connecting our planets. Those elements of the planets are part of our body. So definitely that with the changing in a elemental body of our, that we physically have difficulties and connection, and then in production of the neurohormonal things. Mm-hmm. And absolutely, I would love to anybody, if feel sad or down, that they may listen, they should visit doctors. They should go and hear from the doctors and help neurohormonally with the disbalance that is happening. Some people less, some people more. And then definitely go through the books and biofeedbacks and help from the wisdom of the many people who are ready to help them, alternative medicine practitioner, priests, many people who will help those neurons and neurohormones, I would say, return the frequency as normal as possible. Hope is there, never despair that it is there. Tomorrow is a new day. And so, bless you guys. I know that you're going through the terrible things. Personally, I had a depression after I finished my medical school for a year. I didn't ask for any help, but I was waking up every morning thinking, what is the meaning of the life? Why I'm here? Is there at all any sense of why we're existing, and going to the school and healing and everything? So it's a hard time of the asking for the questions like that. So good luck.
It is actually a time of year when people do ask those questions, and those are really fun conversations to have, as long as we're cognizant of where we are emotionally ourselves, and that we can be grounded and stay and focus for all those people around us. So in addition to that, I would say choose excellent health. Choose to have that piece of cake that you see, or those little sugary cookies and Christmas cookies, because I've been choosing to have those when I don't eat gluten, and I usually don't have dairy, and I am using both of those things now, and I'm going right back to my regimen and sticking to it as much as possible so I can taste these things and be part of that and still feel healthy. So at this time, as we go into a new year too, Stella, you know, we just wish you the greatest health that you can possibly have. And thank you for being part of our show for the last year. And in 2019, we're going to start to interact with people on Facebook if we can, and do some new things with our production. So we wish you a lot of great joy at this time, and good planning and strategizing for the next year. Love and kindness and peace.
Stick on the schedule, guys.
Stay on the schedule. Thanks. Have a great Christmas. Bye.
Same to all of you. Bye.